I put this question to all those men of the rope, and we have a few of them listening to us. Ask yourself a simple question, and you'll see how idiotic it is. And this is the message from the Christ. Open your eyes, you've been fooled enough. If I could save the life of people I touched, couldn't I save my own life using my own soul? And I did. It took me 7 days to overcome multiple fracture and multi-damages into my organs. On the 25th of June. 14 days later, I gave a 6 hours lecture, 5 hours lecture at Louis' house in Brussels. We know how to heal ourselves. We know the secret of the creation. You all know how to do it. It's very simple. What happens when you go into grief? What happens when you lose someone? Understand your emotion of loss. And then you understand why we get enlightened in our griefs. Where we find the strength. Those who are truly grieved, it means they suffer from not being able to give. They don't look at why I can't receive any more love from the one who's gone. The true believers, the suffering comes from that I cannot give. And in trying to give more, they find out, because in the background there is an intention of I don't receive what I could receive from him, there is no elevation. I don't go and destroy Red Circle. I pray for his soul, that he'll be one day elevated, but that's his own crime to what is done to himself and the others. It's his soul who has to be elevated, not me by physicality. We talk to enlighten the others to understand the misconduct of some, but in truth, in reality, we elevate their soul. Many times I've mentioned this. We put it in a form that to you is not understood. Because this is the way human race works backwards. When you start learning you can go through the front door, you don't need to go through the back door, then you find out every knowledge in the universe is open to you. We pray for their souls, we give from their souls, because when they're elevated, I don't need to give, I can give to somebody else which is needed. These people don't come into our life for us to suffer. They come into our life for us to understand the strength of our own soul and the elevation of our own soul. They are the test how we can elevate ourselves, by elevating them. But we talk about it because this way they get distracted from their own action, which allows us to give to them. You heard me many times, I say we kick for them to shout, then we see where the problem is. I had Alan over 4 or 5 hours last summer in my summer holidays in the park, where I took my son to enjoy a day with his dad. He gets hardly days like this because we are so committed to the foundation between me and Caroline. And this guy comes on the phone. For 4 hours, 5 hours, I was with Caroline. I said, I pray for his soul that he elevates. And he was writing in the background, thinking he was very clever, but he doesn't know I was walking him in through the same path. We pray, we give from our souls to what they call themselves our enemy, because we have no enemy. We have the testers of our soul. And the test comes when we can elevate. They walk themselves. Alan walked into the police station. I didn't do anything, but I had to disguise it in a way. Every day I pray for the soul of the red circle because it has to be elevated. These are the people who hurt the others, but they see it as their right. These are our testers. These are for us to know our weaknesses that become our strength. In giving, that we get rid of what is not needed and become strengthened what is given to us in full. You got to look at the talk in Washington last week. I did not, in any circumstances, attack the American government or the American nation. I called upon them to wake up. I gave from the soul of the foundation, as all of us, to all of the nation. And we saw how the weeds came out, the worms came out of the hole. I could not tell the guy that 4 hours before, Douglas has shown over unity directly in the whole process. The children coming and going. But 4 hours before, Arman is online, Rat is online. We were in the office of our attorneys. 1000 volt, and they were happy, they've seen it. They've seen the over unity. And they report to the White House, they report to the people in the background. Do they needed to send somebody like this? But it was in a way to open them for us to elevate their souls. I have enough, I live a comfortable life, I left a luxurious life for a life of exile to teach. Many times I've asked myself, we lived a luxury life. I was an extremely rich man. I left everything for teaching. We suffered a lot. But was the suffering worth it to elevate the soul of the man? Yes, it was. And it still is. You have to understand the operation of your own soul. You have to understand the weakness between your soul and your physicality. Then you can promote your own soul, and with it you promote the soul of the others. Would you like to put a finger on the table and chop it with a sword? Would you like to put your finger on the table and shoot it with a bullet? No. Why do you do it with the physicality of another man? Just tell the children to quiet. You have to understand. We are here not to prove. We are here to elevate. I can keep a lot of this knowledge behind and patent it and open companies and become Bill Gates 3 times over, 10 times over. The man lost his soul once he gets attached to the world of physicality. Many people wrote that he's gathering wealth. You've seen it been tested yesterday, the day before. What we gathered in Italy became open to the government of Italy for the nation of Italy. We are detached from physicality. We live in the palaces of the universe, you're happy with the dump of the palaces of this planet. Understand the operation. Don't read the writing of the Christ with the writing of the man. Read the writing of the Christ, the word of Christ, in the essence of his emotion and connection to his soul. If you want to understand more about the reality of the existence of the operation of the soul, go on the internet, look for hidden world, and understand the writing of Baha'u'llah Blessed's name in the essence of the soul of the man. When you read it, you open the realm of the creation and the message of God to man to elevate to the understanding of the promised one. It is not written for the man, it is written for the soul of the man. That's why it's hidden. When your own soul, its own operation is hidden from you, the knowledge is hidden from you. When you look and understand the writing of Baha'u'llah, bless his name, in the word of the essence of the soul of the man, you will understand the world and the connection between what is to come and what has been, and the elevation of the soul of the man ready for the progress into the universal community. It's very important. Those of you who are not familiar with the writing of Baha'u'llah, especially his hidden word, the rest is for physicality. The only transition book we have between the man and the next development is a hidden word. But when you read it in the understanding of the work of the soul and the elevation of the soul, and then you understand the message of God has been with you for a long time, over 200 years nearly. And it's the same message as was given by Christ, the same message which was given by Moses. But Moses lost his way, so he became back to elevation of being a man in physicality, and he has no status. Buddha understood more, but he could not connect. Muhammad lost his way not by his own, but by his followers. Pleasing the followers brought him the demise of himself. Moses pleased himself. Christianity, the way it is now, does not exist, and it was never the intention of Christ. Understand your own soul, the way you receive it. You don't look for it in vegetation, you don't look for it in the sea fish. You understand your own, then you have the ability to convert. Look what it says in part of the knowledge you just opened up on Wikipedia. Thyroid gland. Look at, understand the operation of the conversion of the matter into the matters you need. Part of your thyroid gland is for your soul. Parathyroid gland, one of them is the elevation of the soul and the emotion to soul, is the conversion. It's the only organ in your life, in your physicality, which connects the emotion to. Another parathyroid gland is responsible for the conversion of the matter state, phosphor to calcium, blah blah, metals to the others. A man has never understood the work of parathyroid gland. Is the electron in the nucleus of the plasma of the brain, in the center of the brain of the man. And when it's misplaced, misconduct appears. You got to understand how and why, and don't look into vegetation or the food. We have to guide you because you're physical, that way involved. You have to have something to receive it. But it sits within you and inside you. This is the beauty of it. If you understand the work of your own physicality and the connection between your physicality and your emotion, and the interaction between where physicality does not need the emotion to interact with its soul, you have managed to understand the secret of the work of the Christ on the cross. Man for 2000 years have not understood how the man on the cross walks off. And that's why they made a mystery out of it. Because nobody could do this. So he's gone. We can make whatever we like. People watched him healing himself. His disciples watched him, that everything was healed. You have to understand the process of cross. When they hang you, is the weight of the physicality which goes down, which literally tears the organs apart and you die. Separation of the physicality, tearing apart from the emotion and the soul. He could manage to hold it because he knew he has the strength through his emotion. It took him a very short time to replenish because he tapped into the universal energy to receive what he could not receive from the food of the man. I can go step by step from the time he received the first nail to the time he landed in France. He lived as a common man amongst common people. He never wanted to be known. He saw the betrayal by his own disciples, and he saw the abuse of the people who did. But he knew what he did wrong, that he received this condition. The crossing was for his soul to be elevated to understand his physical misconduct. And I've said many times, not in my time, not under my watch. I will never go on the cross. The cross is not the physicality of it. It's there for you to become the judge of your own conduct. Does theology exist within the structure of the plasma, or is plasma, is conduct, the theology of the existence? The answer is yes.
I got that one. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Mr. Cash?
Yes.
This is Lucy from China. Our Chinese team have some question about the grid of system. Can they ask you?
About?
About the system, the energy system they made.
The energy system.
Yeah.
We are speaking to Professor Xu.
Yes.
In organizing one teaching directly for this, for the Chinese.
Okay.
Very busy with it. I've seen in some of the pictures I received from Shenzhen that you got yourself a lot confused in a lot of things, but because it needs direct translation, instantaneous translation, in the next couple of days that we are, we speak with Professor Xu, and with trying to explain this that people can see, because you're approaching the manufacturing or production of the energy system in a different way than the rest of the world as I see it.
Okay.
And they can do it much easier. I respect your question. I can answer you, but a lot of people don't understand because you go back into motors and the others where I've seen systems which are vibrating too much. I've seen systems which are not correctly done with the right intention. I've seen the generators, especially with Chinese, that have not understood the work of the, what do you call it, the interaction of the generators.
Okay, so you suggest that we have a special Chinese teaching and combine all the questions together, right?
Yes, that's what it's been, that's what I usually do. I've done that with you a couple of times now.
Okay.
Because you need to translate, and especially in the labs and the groups in China, you're working so hard. You need to be taught where and how. As you know, will know very soon how far we can help you to develop this in a very rapid way. There are different structures which you are putting together. I've seen you misconnecting and expecting connection to be, and you're coming with some genius ways of doing things. When you set up these generators, when you set up these systems, listen to what I said even in the blueprint presentation. This is an interim that you can understand a little bit more, and in a coming time we'll show you very small powerful systems that is good for you. It's a, what I call, this is a, what they call it, sandbag that you can test on. When you develop this technology in the compressors and what do you call, ganses, I try to, even with our own innovation team, I go very slow and let them keep on explaining what they are doing, because by explaining they understand where they have not understood. We have shown you the not the hybrid system, the solid state system. You try to reach the interface between the hybrid and the what do you call it, two sides of the hybrid, is what we're trying to overcome to become only plasma. But there is a need for all of you who are making these generators to understand the transition between the plasma and the vibration of the plasma. And none of you will succeed unless you understand this. You come in from a vibration, from the pump or from the electricity as a grid, because some of you can feed directly into from the grid. You come into the plasma, you go through the capacitors, you go through the stacker, and then you go back to the pumps, which is the physicality. And this clicking of the two is your problem. And then you want to take matter state from it. It doesn't link up. You see it as not running, but you don't understand where the running the problem is. Even our own team has a problem understanding this. I've given them a couple of hints that separate the two sides, and then when it comes, collect as one. But they still go the old way. But that's a hybrid one. You have to understand, especially the Chinese. Do you understand the structure of the compressor internally? Or you just put a compressor to be there? I solved this in the first meeting for the Innovation Center. I just put a conversion of the work of the compressor as a generator through the stacker unit. But if you are not aware with the changes in the matter state and the plasma, you're still looking for the generators. Look, especially all of you, look, go back on the teaching of a few days ago, when Bernie showed you the loop, Arman has jumped on it, but he doesn't understand it. Arman has gone to one stage further into the solid state and is waiting to do. Arman, are you there, please? The Chinese friend, please look at this. It's very important if you understand it. I see the pictures you put in there from different people. You see that check floor, black and white? You have to understand the history of where this came from. The white comes from different and the black from different, where the white is encircled with the black and the black encircles the white. This is the remnants of Masons. Those of you who understand, you understand where this comes from. Arman, are you in the background? Or is he asleep? Can you elevate him if he's there? Can he speak?
He's in the chat here.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's unmuted. There he is.
Give his tongue to him. Let's see if he can speak.
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Hi, Amanjan. Amanjan, can you show us, if you don't mind, your understanding of the solid state, please?
I have to go downstairs. You have to give me.
Oh my God. Will it take you a long time?
No, give me a few minutes.
You don't mind?
No. I don't.
Okay, thank you very much. You got to understand that just look at what you have on the table here. Look at the next step of development. Arman hasn't reached the final stage. He's still got a little bit to go, but he understood the process. He understands what is involved, and he's moved away from the process. Our Chinese friend or the others who are doing it, translate the drawing we have given you as a blueprint and change it into the solid state matter. Most of these things are not there. There is no need for it. Arman has grasped it, but still there's a piece missing in the structure. And do you need all this, or what it sits on that table is all you need? It means a lot of you never understood the work of the two compressors. If you look at the drawing, which actually not a drawing, the physical unit, which was shown to you as a cubic, gave a lot of information, but you all got stuck with this. I mean, left it because this is how much you understand. But Arman understood, but he cannot translate it to the next step, but he's taken the right step. I can teach him in one way and tomorrow he'll fly. But the understanding of the processes, as they have to understand their own weaknesses and their own understanding.
I'm over here, Mr. Keshe. If they allow me to show my video.
It's in the hand of Rick. Rick, can you let him see? Show. Those of you who are working on the compressors and all the problems you have, Arman, you can share.
Okay.
You see, you better explain, Arman. Oh, he's gone on his hands and knees.
We have two units, stacker units, and what I did, I connected only one wire. If you can see here. and the same is the other end, meaning gravitational to magnetical, magnetical to gravitational.
Yeah, you have to open your camera. We don't see, we just see shadows of hand. Yeah.
It's not open.
Yeah, but we don't see the both, what do you call it, the units.
Both units, okay. 1 minute. Put it here.
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, there is another wire coming from one end. There is two ends here. One end going to the magnetical of the capacitor, and from gravitational it goes to back to the gravitational and comes out magnetical and connected to the load. And the other side, it's coming to the load and connected to the gravitational to the load. And then we have the motor, but I cannot connect it, Mr. Kirsch. It's late at night.
Yeah, I understand. No, just that I wanted you to show the next stage of development that you don't need the compressors. These are the maglev units produced in Italy, which Arman carries a lot of them. We don't know how.
Not a lot of them, I have two.
I know, I'm just pulling your leg. You have a white one as well somewhere, I've seen.
No, it's burned.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. But you see how the compressors have changed. Those compressors have a generator inside them. We use the generator motor revolution. That one generator become a power of the other generator. If you understand the winding of your stacker unit, you're not very far from a generator winding. But you have to move away from what do you call it? You have to understand the change between the generator, a motor, and a transformer. And then, in so many ways, if you connect your stacker units in what you call in a correct way, you don't need the two blue ones. You can use only the white stacker in the middle. But this is the way Arman has done it, and you can see there is no compressors. There is no possibility of sort of failure. The only piece which Arman has here on the corner, the black one, would you like to show us, is his what do you call it? Is his motor to run is being fixed as usual with Arman, precision made for him that he can show it. Where even this piece you are working to make it into one small piece about a few centimeters. Then the whole power generation will fit in your side pocket. We already have it. I mean, we can show it for a second time, third time, if you understand it. But if you look into these two blue boxes, is those two compressors you have. This is why I keep on saying, those who understand can go a step further. Those who just copy will stay copying machines, and there is no adding to the knowledge. And then everything is wrong with the people because they never understood it. In China, you are using the compressors, the rest, I explained it. We showed the, I mean, we could have kept that hidden, what do you call it, wireless unit away from you, but we put it on the table for you to see, but you just went to the blueprint. This technology is growing so rapidly, developing so much. I'm just there to guide. I will not make another unit. I stopped working in the labs for a long time. Somebody said he takes other people's knowledge and he markets them. We are like Microsoft. I wonder if Mr. Bill Gates produces every program Microsoft sells. And then it's wrong if it doesn't. It's the same with Apple. We are an organization, we are all one, and when we put out, we put as one. Those who are devious in their thinking, they try to bring that in a way. So if somebody is a head of organization, he doesn't make every system which is put out. So people don't understand thinking how devious they are. Oh, they say, yes, he's right. So from now on, we ask all the head of the companies that they produce every single system themselves, otherwise there's something wrong with them. This is what it is. We enlighten and people elevate the knowledge. There is no compressor here. There is no generator here. The understanding has been translated in solid state. Arman sees it different way. He's put it there. There are all sorts of parameters in this. It's not going to work the first time. It's not going to work the second time, but it's going to work because all it needs is refining. This is completed when it becomes all in one stacker unit. And in Innovation Center, we are working on that one stacker unit. All the others have gone. So our Chinese friend who want to show us the generator and the pump, you haven't understood what's inside the pump and what's inside the compressor. Inside your compressors are generators. I did this with the Innovation Center a few weeks ago. They immediately understood, and then we added the heartbeat to it with the understanding of learning. This is beautiful what you made, Ahmed, but it's so simple. There is no moving part in it once you detach the starter motor.
You just create a loop.
Yeah. And actually that loop sits in your stacker.
Yeah, I know. You can do it in one stacker too.
Yeah. I understand.
No, just I want to show it that you don't need the generators and you can do it this way. You just need the dynamo.
Yeah, we showed this last week in the miniature unit, and everybody went on board and started doing the pump on the blueprint. We showed the physical unit on the miniature unit. There is a teaching. Thank you very much, Arman. Sorry to get you off the bed this time of morning.
I'm not in a bed.
You're becoming like me. You never sleep.
Mr. Kerr,
Pardon?
good morning, Mr. Kerr.
No, nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay. So you see, can we go back in the picture which was there? We don't need the generators. We don't need the pumps. And one thing you'll come up to understand, when you use the pump and then you have a restriction in the magnetic field flow as a current for a DC or a current for a AC, a 220 or 110. This is copying. What we saw is understanding and adding. Open these compressors. Look what's inside them. So many of you have built. Just this is what I try to stop. Monkey see, monkey do. We gave the blueprint and we showed you immediately. We didn't wait for months. We showed you immediately the solid state of it. There is a problem with the blueprints because you have to understand what's inside it. It's a generator. We trigger the plasma of the generator by looping it, feeding each other. It's a continuous generation. In a normal condition, you lose over time as the energy lost. With adding the coils and the capacitors, you bring the energy of the universe into it through the nano coating and through the gas. Very simple. It's your body. One generator on one side is your brain, the other generator is your physicality. And if you look at the stacker, is your mouth feeding you with the energy extra or the absorption through your body? Two eyes and the brain in the middle. Understand, don't go on to today start copying the Maglev unit. Understand, some of you, there's a lot of hidden connections in the Maglev unit. Arman just explained to you one, and it takes time to get all of it, because you have to understand it. Magrav units are generators in a small voltages in the matter state, but high potential plasma voltages in the current flow, very low in the matter state, but extremely powerful in the structure. You got what you wanted. This is historical, what we see, and we see in the translation of understanding of the knowledge with Arwen. Vernie, are you there, please? Is Vernie in the background? Hi, Rick.
I see Renan there. I don't see Bernie at this point. Let's just keep looking
It's
here.
about 6, 7 o'clock at night, so it should be up. It's not middle of the night. Brennan, do you have the picture of the what do you call it? The miniature unit.
Okay, sir, I'll get it, sir. I think it's in the Zoom.
Okay, if you can bring it and show the process with the solid state process.
Okay, sir, I'll get it.
Thank you very much. Can you let Brennan to share? Because if Brennan was there, he could explain to you in a different way that you understand. So those of you, we leave the blueprint and we'll let you do what you like with it, because it's our job to release the knowledge. Because don't forget, it goes back to one thing. The more we release to you, the more you think about it, the more you receive, the more we receive as a whole, that we can give more, and it's just expanding very rapidly. Now we're getting to the speed of hurricane. Up to now we were breezes in the transfer of knowledge. Understand the process, understand what it means, understand the implication, understand the application.
Hi, sir, I have here a replication of it in the other lab, which we have made also.
Okay, would you like to share with us either way, whatever you have?
Okay, sir. Okay, so can you see the picture?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is these similar connections with Bernie, but with larger coils, because Bernie was making the smaller coils. This one is about bigger, 2 times bigger than the. It's almost the same as the Magrav units that we have.
Yes.
So,
okay. Can I take over, because we leave it as that. We don't want to go through it till it's done properly.
okay, sir.
When you see in this structure is a Magrav unit with capacitors. There are hidden things in here which we don't explain. In time we will, because it's part of the development. And soon you will understand that's all it needs to produce 3 to 5 or 10 kilowatt. No more. And you can miniaturize it into the laptop. You can expand it to the size of a building block. It doesn't make much difference. It's what and how you transfer energy. This is what you got to be looking for. You see the 2 coils at the bottom is like a generator. The third one coming from the capacitors is your stacker unit. And this system, we will show its operation in a very short time. So you see, we are not talking imaginary. Everything what we say is getting done. The Innovation Center is very rapidly working on these kind of things. is a specific way of developing these coils and the capacitors. They are not normal capacitors. We explain in the future how we build them, how they're done, and the reason behind it. We have developed new capacitors which you've never seen before. I've asked Wernie a few days ago to how to construct it. It took him less than a few minutes, and we've seen the result. We are looking at new development in all the capacitors. We work as a team, we develop as a team, and we share as a team. We start small and then we bring it out. I wonder how many of you will share with us what you learn. Thank you very much. Well, Renan, while you're on the line, would you like, or do you have access to the video of the Hollow Center which you tested, which emptied?
Yes, sir. I have the video, but I have not. I don't have the picture of the of it when it was hollowed. But the video, when the time it was when it flew away from the motor, I have the video. I can play it.
Yes, please share.
Okay, sir. I'll prepare the video.
Thank you very much. We stop sharing and come back again. So you see from these huge transformers and what you call compressors, how far we are coming down to. You have to add to the knowledge. You have to extend the knowledge. Now we are testing capacitors in a special way that they give up to 1,000+ volts. We understand the process, and I've said something, I've written to the Innovation Center. Any of you, especially a lot of Keshe Foundation close people, keep on calling innovation. They have an instruction not to talk to any of you. We are taking too much time and you're putting them under a lot of pressure. None of the Keshe Foundation supporters, whatever, if you have access to Innovation Center, they will not respond to you. If you want to know anything, go back to the helpline and to the support team which sits there. They can support you, because then it's creating your people going back, says Mr. Keshe said to us that you have to share or whatever. I've told them not to share because you're taking too much time and you're putting them under a lot of pressure. So those who've been calling the innovations into people, please find out they will not respond to you. It's not that we don't want to, you're taking too much time and you're not sharing the knowledge in the right way, because it's causing a lot of problem for us. So those of you who've been calling Douglas and Bernie and Renan and Jonathan and the rest, you'll get a blank wall from now on, because we need the time to finish the job. Are you ready to share?
Yes, sir. It's ready. I'll share.
Please, thank you. Yes, send it technical support. They will give you what they have. Thank you very much, Vivek. Would you like
Welcome,
to
sir.
explain to us?
Okay.
Sir, can I just very quickly state that if we receive any questions at tech support to which we do not have the requisite information, for example, the final design that's coming out and things like that, we will not be able to answer your questions. Please send us.
We will try to enlighten you. You have
Sure.
to. It's work in progress. Really, don't say anything how this is done. We just want you to see how the center empties and you see the big disk moving. It's a very small core, and you watch what's happening. It's very interesting. You just let them watch, and the center core in this gets emptied from liquid. Carry on, please.
Okay, sir. I'll play the video.
Play the
Until,
video. Till it goes. Yeah, please. Look at the big disk on the floor. It's a very small motor, and this is a solid wood. It's a lot of weight. It's very slow.
Okay, so it was a very short 30 seconds
Video.
video, yeah, for that. And this was the second time we turned it. And once we reviewed the inside of the core, the half of the inner core was reduced. So the inner core was only half of its water was gone, but still the outer core has its water.
Okay, carry on, please.
For this. So this is the short video for it. I think that's all, Martikash. It's a 30-second video until it drops out for the ball for
No
its.
problem. No problem.
I'll repeat it so people can see how it was.
Yeah.
It was removed from the. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. You see, the very small core can move a system like this. We have tested without any liquid into these balls. We have tested with water only, and understanding the process is very important. It's part of the teaching, comes together in agriculture, in health, and in the space technology. The inner core emptying itself and no liquid is the same generation of the fields before. So when we try to explain, you got to understand the totality. But then the question goes, what you have as the Maghreb generator unit, if you understood what is on the picture today with the rotating cores, do we need any Maghreb units? Or do the Maghreb units become the structure of the frame for extraction of the field in the matter state vibration of electrons? Then the process become conversion system. Your stacker is a converter of the plasma into matter state level. And then if you know how to do it, you find a potential balance in respect to the matter state and the plasma state, and then you can drain what you like. In Armand setting, we have already preset that when you get to that stage, we can drain as much as we like on the matter state. These coils easily can give you 1 megawatt. Easily, if you understand, because we are not working on a matter state, we are working on the plasma transfer on the nano layers, which is totally what you call resistance free as a superconductor. Now, those of you who are in China or other places building these compressors, you went to put the compressor, but we went inside the compressor, which is generator. And if you understand the work of the generators, you understand. We have a small picture. We just got a white line, Rick. I think it's a Chinese person.
Trying to fix it here.
Yeah. You will understand. If you understand the work of the generators, how the winding of a generator is, it takes you a few seconds to convert the knowledge instead of that big box to a coil. But you have to understand, you've seen the number of the wires and the connections which you've seen in there, all isolated from each other. In a way, by connecting the right way, you get rid of the what I call get rid of the Renan, darling, you have your microphone open. It's what you've done in a way. If you are put it in writing here, if you see it, I go in a color, you can see a blue if it's good enough. If you see, this is your stacker, and if you look, the green here is your generator. This become A and this become B by just rewinding the correct way. So you don't need the compressors, because what you find in a compressor is another version of this. This is A and this is B. So you see how we managed to get rid of this. This part, we think, we are sure, we have managed to eliminate too. But here you get a power generator to go from 8 volt into a capacitance and increase to 220. We're working on a system that, in a way, we are setting things up. We can go directly to maybe up to 15,000 volts, because this is we need. I explain to you in the future why we need it. If you go, I taught earlier on, if you go to 15,000 to 20,000 without this here, which is impossibility at the moment, and if we can replicate it and do it, then you understand you don't even need this. Or you can use it initially in conjunction with each other to replicate part of this here, and then you, with one coil, you achieve. And if you look very, very closely at one of these, let's look at number 3, and go and look at the unit which we showed in Barletta with Marco system. You find one unit here. Number 3 is a copy of what you've seen on the whole platform with Marco system. The 2 coils inside, the source, the energy, and everything else you can control. And the new rings and capacitors we are developing will literally cover for all of this. All this unit as a whole, maybe 1 kilowatt, maybe 1 megawatt, will become a pocket size. I need the time for you lot to take time to produce, that I can put pressure on the governments to push for world peace. You don't understand the game. Let me explain it openly. I need you to be as slow as possible, that the governments see it coming, they can organize themselves. At the same time, I need it as fast enough that I push the change I'm looking for, which is the peace. Otherwise, I can show you in one stroke and you all copy it, and then what's going to happen? Then they fit themselves in another disguise. This way, we use the knowledge and the science to negotiate. In fact, if you look at the whole structure, I tell you what you need. I'm going to clean up this. It takes so long to clean, but it takes so little to write it. All you need, literally, if you understand, is this. Where the 3 sits is your rotating core. Where this sits is your matter conversion to the state you like. The rest of this picture here is a waste of time. But this is what you understand. I have to go through it this way. And I'll let you build it step by step. And if you go back, we shown this a year ago in the Maghreb unit. If you look at one of these units, gravitational to magnetical, magnetical to gravitational, infinity loop is already there. If you look, the source of energy sits in the middle. All you need to do is to tap.